This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
We'll never look at it the opposite way. Well, if they doing all the giving, who's giving to them?
New at 11, a family known for its generosity is asking for help. They're looking for the person who shot their son as they struggle to make ends meet after dealing with the aftermath of violence for more than a month. 28-year-old Charles Buchanan was shot in the head the week of Thanksgiving.
And like many shootings across Indianapolis, the case remains unsolved and police have not named any suspects.
RTV6's Cameron Riddle shares the family's plea for the same community they serve.
On the week of Thanksgiving, we first introduced you to Jomo and Shireen Cole, an Indianapolis couple helping dozens of families with donations of entire meals for Thanksgiving dinner. But in that same week, their joy of giving was wiped away by tragedy.
My husband got a phone call. I had just gotten back in the door from taking my youngest son to school. And he said, honey, it's CJ. He's been shot in the head. And I was like, no, I'm not accepting it.
The Coles' 28-year-old son, Charles Buchanan, also known as CJ, was shot in the head on Sherman Drive and English Avenue. The unknown shooter, apparently aiming for Buchanan's friend driving the car, left that person untouched and Buchanan with bullet fragments behind his eye. He was not expected to survive. But after weeks in the ICU, came a miracle.
He started coughing and he opened his eye and he moved his arm and he moved his leg. And I said, you can't tell me what my God can't do.
As Buchanan heals, his parents are struggling to pay their bills after spending the majority of the last 33 days in the hospital at their son's bedside and not at work.
Basically, we just need just a little financial help to get us back on track, to keep us from, sinking.
The Coles are among dozens of families ending the year wondering who would try to harm the people they love and why. Tonight, the generous family with a history of giving is now hoping the city that they love will love them back.
I do a lot in the community, and I take care of a lot of people in the community. So now I need for the community to help me and my family and bring my son's shooter to justice.
If you have any information on who the shooter for CJ Buchanan is, you are asked to call IMPD detectives directly at 327-3475, or if you would like to call anonymously, dial 317-262-TIPS. In Indianapolis, working for you, I'm Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Working for you, RTV6 is getting results for an apartment tenant and a business owner trying to help lift up his community. We start on the west side of Indianapolis.
It's a little better than what it was. They said today that they was gonna transfer us into another apartment.
RTV6 first showed you this mess Friday at 11. India Jones told us a massive flooding incident in the building's laundry room and then massive overflow of raw sewage in her bathroom left her apartment unlivable. Jones took her complaints to the apartment manager several times before reaching out to RTV6.
So I really appreciate what y'all did. Y'all coming out and lighting a fire underneath their tails to get the job done. Now we just praying that they get us into another apartment so we can get back to living.
Crews have cleaned up much of the mess, but deeper fixes like replacing the carpet still need to be done. Now to the east side, where a former flea market is being turned into a shopping center. We told you last week the owner of the W Street Shopping Center is offering low rent and utility costs in an effort to bring new business to the community. Owner Caleb Paddock says since RTV6 shared his story last Monday at 11, his phones have been ringing off the hook with business owners wanting to rent space. In just 1 week, Paddock says he's given dozens of tours and signed numerous rental agreements. Out of 29 units, only 2 are still available. If you're doing something to improve your community and need help getting the word out, contact us at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
Now joining me here in the Storm Team 6 Tracking Center is Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory, and it was a rude awakening today after the nice weather we've had over the past couple of days.
You have eight days at 50 or above, and then the 30s hit and it grabs your attention, doesn't it?
And then some flurries even, so we might see more of that, right?
Tomorrow, and some light accumulation expected north and east of India. I just want to point this out. We've had 7.6 inches of snow so far this month. We may add just a little tomorrow. So far for the season, we've had 10.4 inches of snow. There's the center center of low pressure over Lake Superior. That's responsible for the very windy conditions, also delivering much colder air and generating some snow to our north and west. We get a closer view right along the state line with Michigan. You can see the snow. This will slide south and east. 3 a.m. some light snow from Kokomo to Peru, Marion. As we go through the morning hours tomorrow, it really cuts across, say, Lafayette to north of Indy to Greensburg, and that's where we may see some light accumulation. Not talking about a lot, but a dusting can cause some issues, and that's what we expect as we go through the afternoon hours tomorrow. That leaves our New Year's Eve dry. I'll have more details on that and what to expect New Year's Day and beyond coming up.
RTV6 is working to learn more about a deadly crash that happened after a federal suspect wouldn't pull over for Metro police officers. The person eventually ran a stoplight, hitting a car that had nothing to do with the chase or the case. RTV6's Cornelius Hawker explains what police are saying about the case and has reaction from a man who saw the wreck.
This intersection is bad enough. You see wrecks out here all the time working.
So it didn't surprise Mark Schatzer when he saw this awful accident at the intersection of Pendleton and Oakland and earlier on Monday right near his job. He was, however, surprised to learn why it happened.
The cops go to pull you over, warrant or not. I mean, I can't speak for him. I don't know what was going through his mind when he decided to run, but just pull over.
IMPD says this happened after their officers tried to stop a suspect involved in a federal firearms investigation. That suspect refused to pull over, speeding away from officers, leading them on a short chase that went into Hancock County and then back into Marion. That's when the suspect slammed into the car of innocent bystanders, killing the driver and sending a passenger to the hospital. There's been an outpouring of support for the people whose lives have been forever changed. Mark, like a lot of people, is waiting for police to release more details. But he says he knows for sure whatever situation the suspect was trying to avoid just got a whole lot worse at the expense of someone's life.
Just pull over, because now a few years in jail is going to turn into a lifetime in jail.
Working for you in Lawrence, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
Well, IMPD is trying to figure out if this crash could have been prevented. They're making sure all officers and departments involved followed proper protocol. The department announced in 2016 it would be making changes to its pursuit policy, which had been in place since 2007. We've reached out for more details on the updated policy. We will let you know when IMPD shares that information.
Many hospitals, daycares, and other places are taking precautions to prevent the spread of the flu, and Riley Hospital for Children now has a checkpoint to protect patients ahead of peak flu season. And the director of Day Early Learning says the facility is taking extra steps to sanitize toys, tables, and other areas where germs may be lurking. Doctors say it's not too late to get a flu shot to protect yourself and those around you.
I think it's important, again, just to realize that the flu shot really does save lives. It saves people from getting severely sick.
The Indiana State Department of Health reports 7 flu-related deaths so far this year.
The high cost of insulin is still costing lives. A state representative plans to propose legislation next week that would cap the cost of the drug. Tonight, a father who lost a loved one is shedding new light on the devastating impact of the issue.
With insulin, it's life and death. I mean, if you don't take the insulin, you're dead.
Harry Rybolt's 39-year-old son died in August. Doctors say Jeremy Crawford died from pneumonia combined with diabetes. Rybolt says his son lost his health insurance and switched from using a higher-grade prescription insulin to a much cheaper kind that he could buy over the counter. The cost of the 4 most popular types of insulin has tripled in the past decade. The average price for someone paying out of pocket is now $450 a month.
Because there's enough money in this country, nobody should go without insulin. It's greed, is all it is. It's greed with the drug makers and insurance and whoever's all involved.
Studies show 1 in 4 people with diabetes are rationing or skipping doses of insulin because of the cost. The legislation is set to be introduced. It would cap the price at $100 for a 30-day supply.
Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett and leaders with IMPD plan to make an announcement at 10:30 tomorrow morning. It may be related to the search for a new police chief. Last month, Chief Brian Roach announced he is leaving the department at the end of the year. Roach has served as IMPD chief since January of 2017. Look for updates throughout the day tomorrow on RTV6, the RTV6 app, and the IndyChannel.com. And 2 other Central Indiana police departments introduced new top cops today. The incoming mayor of Muncie officially named Nathan Sloan the chief of police. He has been with the Muncie Police Department for 18 years, serving most of that time as a detective. He is taking over as Muncie PD faces a lot of challenges, including federal investigations into alleged police brutality. Sloan says he is dedicated to earning public trust.
We've got very, very good and dedicated officers here, but it's going to take some time to convince the public of that. They really need to understand who we are, and that's a lot on us and a lot of responsibility that we have to take to them to show them to reach back out to mend some fences that we've maybe damaged in the past.
Sloan and the incoming deputy chief both say they have not been privy to much information related to the federal investigations. The outgoing chief, Joe Winkle, served his last day today. In Beech Grove, the mayor also introduced a new police chief. Deputy Chief Michael Maurice will take over the top position. He's been with the department since 2002. The mayor says 9 internal candidates interviewed for that position.
A big reason to celebrate if you live or work or drive on the north side. Today, Carmel leaders held a ribbon-cutting ceremony at 96th and Keystone, just north of I-465. Carmel paid for the $28.7 million roundabout interchange. The goal is to improve safety and traffic congestion. And empty Indianapolis Park is getting a big funding boost to bring a playground, picnic shelter, and much more to the site. The National Park Service is awarding the city $750,000 to help construct Reverend Charles Williams Park near Fall Creek Parkway on the near north side. Earlier this month, Call 6 Investigates reported that nothing is built at the park, despite a blueprint established nearly 5 years ago.
A man who attacked a woman and stole her car in Tippecanoe County is still on the run at this hour. Now police are releasing evidence in hopes of getting the suspect off the street.
And a mystery couple's picture hangs among the elite at St. Elmo's Steakhouse. Why the restaurant wants you to look at this photo. You're watching RTV6 News at 11.
Toyota, let's go places. This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Police are asking for help identifying a man accused of attacking and robbing a woman in Lafayette. The only clear surveillance picture of the suspect is from behind. The victim says the man tackled her just before 7:30 this morning near North 5th Street and Ferry Street. Police say that he stole the woman's keys and then her car. If you have information, call Lafayette Police. The number is 765-807-1200.
This time tomorrow night, many of you will be out on the town getting ready to ring in the new year.
Yeah, and if you don't want to drive, there are some free and discounted transportation options. So for the first time, Indigo is offering free New Year's Eve rides. Fares will not be charged system-wide from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. And Lyft will offer free rides up to $10. You'll need to download a code to be eligible. You can find a link to that code and more information about the deal in the RTV6 app.
And tomorrow will be your last chance to dance and drink at a beloved bar in downtown Indianapolis. We told you earlier this week, Ike and Jonesy's on South Meridian Street is closing. It's going out with a bang with a final New Year's Eve celebration before shutting its doors. RTV6 spoke to the owner last week. He says Ike and Jonesy's has customers from around the world.
I have enjoyed this immensely for the last 36 years. I've met people, and I have friends all over the country, all over the world, from all these conventions. We've had people come to my daughter's wedding that were firefighter convention. I will miss that. That makes me a little tearful.
Reich Eichholz tells RTV6 the bar is closing to make way for a new hotel. He says an auction will be held starting on January 3rd to sell the memorabilia that lines the walls of this business. A lot of memories there for a lot of people.
A lot of memories there, so live it up on its final day. There are many other New Year's Eve celebrations planned across central Indiana, some just in for adults, some that are family friendly. You can find a list in the RTV6 app and on our website, theindychannel.com.
Well, an iconic Indianapolis restaurant is asking for help solving a mystery.
Yeah, St. Elmo wants to find out the identity of the couple in this picture. It's framed among hundreds of celebrity photos hanging on the restaurant's walls. But the man and woman are not celebrities, and St. Elmo did not hang the picture. The vice president of marketing thinks the couple put the picture up themselves when no one was watching. He's not upset. In fact, if the mystery couple comes forward, the VP is offering to buy them a drink.
Watch, they turn out to be huge celebrities.
Well, they are.
They are now, right?
Exactly. I bet you the mystery will be solved in early 2020. That's a prediction for you. Okay, we mentioned the rain was a transition to much colder temperatures. We had just over 1 1/3 inches since Saturday night, most of that coming on Sunday into Monday. As far as our temperatures, we did take a hunk out of the 50s and 60s. Temperatures about 20 degrees colder than we were 24 hours ago. Snow sits off to the north and west. This is very light snow, but again from Lafayette to around Indy to Greensburg northeast, some light accumulation possible during the day tomorrow. It's all about the wind still right now. We had a gust of 45 in Indy. Terre Haute had a 48-mile-per-hour gust today. They've calmed down a little, but the wind is going to be strong for the next 24 hours. This time tomorrow night, windy, cold, and dry. Have more of an hourly forecast coming up. Wind chill is 20 in Peru. 35 is the temperature in Indianapolis. We've only changed 1 degree since the evening newscast with the cloud cover around and that wind keeping the atmosphere all mixed up. Temperatures not falling off too much. They will drop into the upper 20s. 7 a.m. from Kokomo and Peru north, some very light snow. Notice how it's dropping south and east along Interstate 65 and then 74 kind of as a dividing line. This is very light and expected to be over by mid-afternoon. If you're traveling east on an Interstate 70 or southeast on Interstate 74, maybe it lasts a little bit longer. Here are your snowfall potential numbers, a few tenths of an inch. That's really about it. As you get up towards South Bend, northeast Indiana, could see 1 to maybe 2 inches of snow. Other than that, an inch or less in our viewing area. Just as windy tomorrow, wind gusts close to 40 miles per hour. Combine that with the coldest temperatures for the week ahead, with highs only in the low to mid 30s. You'll definitely need all of your heaviest winter gear. The snow showers are with us through the first part of the day. Let's talk about your New Year's Eve hourly forecast tomorrow night. Pretty consistent, right around 30 degrees. Windy, but I think the snow showers will be over and stays dry, obviously. The change on New Year's Day, more sunshine around and temperatures respond. We'll be up to 43 degrees. High temperatures to the south in the mid-40s. Rain returns Thursday and Friday. With that rain, our temperatures will come back up, but we may see another soaking rain of 1/2 inch to possibly 1 inch. Snow showers. 37 on Saturday, back to 41 on Sunday. Temperatures early next week staying around that 40-degree mark. So it's nice that we don't have anything that really contends tomorrow night to cause problems on the roadways.
So enjoy it and be safe, right? All right.
Well, we have Brad Brown with sports. Hey, Brad.
Very good, team. Thanks. Good evening, everyone. The Colts already getting to work on 2020 today. 3 players signing 1-year contract extensions. Chase McLaughlin among them means he could be the team's kicker next season. Zach Pascal and Mo Alley-Cox also sign on. 14 others signing reserve and future contracts. More from the Colts later this week. As for the Pacers, they will close out 2019. Still waiting for Victor Oladipo to return to game action. Vic practicing in Fort Wayne today and tomorrow with the Mad Ants, but they are also not that far off from 2018. 21-12 right now. A year ago, they were 24-12. The team coming off of a tough double-loss weekend. Friday had that thriller in Miami. Saturday in New Orleans, they were never really in that one. So 6th place in the Eastern Conference right now. The Pacers will have limited opportunities against the teams right ahead of them in the coming weeks, but they do get one against the 76ers tomorrow. Philadelphia is just 1 game ahead of Indiana in the East.
Philly's always, you know, in the playoffs and fighting for a top seed like we are, and I think the playing styles are similar. Hard-nosed teams that play defense and get out and run. And, you know, if you want to call it a rivalry, that's great. We're just coming in trying to execute and get a win.
This game has an early start time of 3 p.m. The Pacers are also home on Thursday night. The Butler men's basketball team is up to number 10 in this week's coaches poll. The Bulldogs' 12-1 start is the 6th time they've done that in the last 19 seasons. Butler opens Big East play tomorrow night at St. John's. College hoops right here in town tonight. Let's start with IUPUI hosting Cleveland State, game at the Coliseum. Both teams struggling a bit, but some great action in this one. Marcus Burke hits 3 for IUPUI. He had 6 triples in the game. Mike DePersia then with the alley-oop pass. Zoe Tyson with the big finish. Zoe scored 10. And then we'll get a look at DePersia, drive and score. CSU, though, got one right at the buzzer. 82-80 the final. Jags fall to 0-2 in the Horizon League. They play at Milwaukee coming up on Friday. And the Marion men at home tonight taking on IU Southeast. This was also a close one. Cam Walter down low. The hook shot scores part of a 32-point night to lead Marion. Luke Goment drive, little flip with the right hand. Marion was up 8 at halftime. They keep it going in the second. Luke Hetty open for the 3. Marion shot 52% tonight, and a late Christian Harvey layup gives them their 11th win of the season. Marion is home again this weekend. They play on Saturday. Time for us to take a final break. Back to wrap up. Or more of the news at 6. Yes, next.
Stay only at Ashley Home Store. This is home.
RTV6's commitment to connecting you to career opportunities and resources will not end in 2020. It's been more than a year since we launched our Hiring Hoosiers initiative.
And as we look toward the future, we are also taking a look back at some of Central Indiana's most inspiring job training initiatives.
In September, RTV6's Lauren Casey discovered Watch Us Farm in Zionsville.
Well, we're right now painting the curves, as you can see.
These workers may look like they're with the town of Zionsville.
Oh, it feels amazing. Yes, I've been making good friends.
But Alex Gillihan is part of a nonprofit corporation called Watch Us Farm. And while today they aren't on the farm, that is part of what they do to get work ready.
I've been planting fruits and vegetables. I've been going to the trails, painting.
Busy summer.
Yeah.
We don't take money for this. My husband and I do this because this is what we want to do, and I want people to have jobs.
Janice Agarwal is the executive director, and this is her vision. After spending time living in Europe, she saw how community farms help to teach adults with intellectual disabilities skills for the workforce.
It gives quality of life. It gives a community something to support. There are lots of volunteers, and it changes their lives. It changes lives. So when you start seeing this all over the world, I wanted it here.
Watch Us Farm provides basic jobs and training for adults with disabilities who are high functioning and can work, but they may need a little bit of help.
Sometimes they can be totally independent, but they may need you to come in and check on them. So we want to be that safety net for them.
Janice and her staff break down the tasks step by step.
And then we kind of figure out what they can and can't do and how they learn.
Take pictures and document the steps.
Someone asked me, could they do this job? I now know how I can break it down, and I can start learning how to place kids.
Right now, they're partnering with the town of Zionsville to do this work on the streets. The town gives them the supplies.
They work hard. They'll do the same thing every single day for 10 years, and they'll be fine with that. You know, they just don't do change that well.
Workers like Alex get paid for his hard work, and he gets some help from volunteers who become his friends. And his message for you as he picks up his paintbrush:
I would love to get more friends out here.
Working for you, Lauren Casey, RTV6.
Watch Us Farm always needs volunteers, donations, and community support. To learn more, go to hiringhoosiers.com. We'll be right back.
Donate to Goodwill.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Don't be alarmed. This is only a test. Today, crews tested the New Year's Eve ball in Times Square to make sure it is ready for its shining moment tomorrow. Remember to ring in 2020 on RTV6. The New Year's Rockin' Eve starts at 8 o'clock tomorrow night.
And we'll basically share the same weather with New York City. They'll be in the 30s, we'll be in the low 30s, both areas dry. Now remember, during the daylight hours tomorrow, may have a few snow showers, some light accumulation, but by tomorrow night, it will be dry.
Don't fret. Right.
I'm going to get the confetti ready. We'll drop it here tomorrow.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Yes. Have a good night.